Here today, I'm excited to talk about retooling for the future. And so I think, certainly the pandemic 2020 was a tough but transformative year for all of us. And I like to equate it to a dumpster that you want to set on fire, right? You want to put all these issues we handled in 2020, and you want to put them away and set it on fire and never think about it again. And so I think this image that I'm sharing now is very indicative of how many of us are probably feeling. But the reality, though, is that 2020 did bring out a significant amount of change. And as it relates to the BPO industry and the customer experience industry, we've seen a rapid increase and acceleration of digitization, right? And frankly, people have seen 2020 accelerate their digital transformation plans at a much rapid pace than could have been predicted. And one of the things that we tried to answer as a company very much in this space is, well, how much digital transformation was accelerated? And how do you really quantify it? And what does that really look like? And by our estimates, we're somewhere between 5 to 10 years of acceleration happened in the portion of the 10-month period since the pandemic hit in 2020. And then what does that really mean, right? So when we think about digital acceleration, how do we quantify it? And you have to look at it, I think, from three different areas: process. The business model, so how do we interact and actually conduct business? And then cultural and organizational operation, how do we actually operationalize in this new digital economy? And by all accounts, the adoption of process transformation and how digital is impacting processes, rapid, as you can see by this graph that I'm highlighting here, it's just a rapid acceleration of what's implemented across the business. Also, in terms of business model, the changes that have happened where now entire marketplaces are entirely digital and customers are 100% serviced out of a digital channel. And the increase of remote work, online products and services, and the migration to cloud has significantly accelerated beyond expectations as a result of the pandemic. And so, if you think about your day-to-day lives, you see all of these impacts. Think about how you eat now under the pandemic with, things like Food Panda and Grab Delivery. Your work at home, Zoom conference calls, the way we travel or lack thereof now of travel. The time we're spending maybe gaming as our entertainment on the weekends versus going out in public. Media consumption, Netflix, online, viewership, different streaming services that have become available. Online shopping, the emergence of brands who now have an online presence that before did not have an online presence. The way you receive healthcare, telemedicine, public benefits, learning, and how we've had to adapt in the learning environment. So some of these changes, while we always talk about going back to the new normal or the back to normal, the reality is there's going to be a new normal. And a lot of these changes that we experienced through the pandemic are ultimately here to stay. And so why do we care? Well, we care because ultimately it's important for us to recognize that 2020 was a tough but transformative year. We have about 5 to 10 years of digital experience that's accelerated in the course of 10 months, and it's here to stay. And as a CX enabling industry, we have to respond to that change. And so from a TTEC perspective, we really look at digital transformation and human innovation partnering together. So, there's all these kind of foreboding predictions that technology is going to take over the contact center experience. And we see it very differently than that. We see it as very complementary and very synergistic in our industry. And we liken technology and digital transformation to how you would think of a butler. See, a butler is there when you need them, but kind of out of the way when you don't. See, in technology, we've all had experiences with technology where it becomes obtrusive or annoying in the customer experience. And that's not how a butler would be rated, right? You want a butler to be there when you need them. Same thing with technology. We need them to be there. We need technology to be there when we need them, but then we also need human intervention when appropriate. And the ideal customer experience continuum is those working in a complementary way. And so for us, technology is a force multiplier when people are doing the jobs that are of the utmost importance. And so for TTEC, what we've been doing is we've been introducing a culture shift called CultureCX. And put simply, it's a movement that focuses on the underlying correlation between two corporate variables: positive work culture and delivering excellent customer experience, and ultimately results and customer outcomes. And so for us, it's about a robust, holistic, and differentiated employee value proposition that builds an energized environment, gets people excited to learn more, broaden their skills. So you got to create an environment that motivates people to learn, and then use that learning, use that development to basically extract value for the clients we do business with around CX continuum. And for us, we've built this ecosystem where we're retooling people to be familiar with the digital experience and how that should complement the customer experience. And we're taking those insights from our frontline employees and delivering that as value, as consulting-led value for the business engagements we have with our clients, and helping to drive their customer experience and helping to ensure that technology is optimized, that it has a very butler-centric type of approach in how it's leveraged in the customer experience, and not this obtrusive obstacle that we have to overcome. And so we've been equipping our frontline teams to essentially be familiar with customer journey mapping, and where they can map the end-to-end customer journey that happens before the contact center experience, and also that happens after the contact center experience. And in seeing that full end-to-end journey, we're able to identify opportunities for improvement in either process or technology that can better optimize the way that customers experience with the brands that we support. And so we've had a very successful 2020. For us last year in this retooling, we've delivered 250 almost proactive solutions or ideas to our clients, and that we've presented that's coming from our frontline teams. About roughly 70% of those solutions are accepted by our clients. They're delivering about 5 to 7% of value to our clients if you measure that as a percentage of their total contact center spend. Imagine that. That's a pretty significant amount of savings or value that frontline teams are able to deliver. And that's underpinned by that ecosystem I was talking about before that's driven our people to involve themselves in broader professional development. And so we're seeing a 310% increase in the amount of professional development hours spent on retooling yourself, growing your professional skill set. And we're applying that towards this digital evolution that we're seeing happen and unfold in our industry. And we've awarded people who have pioneered us in that journey. So we've had across 40,000 employees across the globe. Last year, our retooling, worked out to be about 1,500 people were able to participate in these journey mapping exercises and get rewarded for their work on driving insights to our clients. And as a result, we're seeing a response in measures of like employee engagement. We've seen a 9% increase in employee engagement, because if I can now impact the customer experience ecosystem I work in, it's a much more enriched and valuable job for me as an employee. I add value. I'm being heard. I'm being listened to. And so while 1,500 might seem like a small percentage of people to work on these customer journey maps, it's an evolution. We've started the evolution. We're excited about how we're retooling the workforce for the future. We're excited about the career opportunities and professional development that it affords our staff. And we think it places us in a very, unique position to take advantage of what's unfolding before us and embracing the technology transformation that's happening across the globe. Thank you.